A massive smoking mound of rubble today after a fire destroys half of the Pallet Express warehouse on Lyell Avenue in Rochester. Power knocked out, businesses closed for a bit in the area. And that massive response is now a cleanup effort that could take a while. Deshaun Johnson is live at the site. Deshaun, you spoke to many who were affected by all of this. What are they saying out there?
Yeah, like you mentioned, this 5-alarm fire destroyed 75% of this business. I'll step out so you can see just some of the progress they've made since earlier this morning when they started the cleanup. There have been construction crews out here tearing down sides of the building. The fire department was hosing off some of the spurts of fire that kept popping up. But like you said, many of the businesses and residents here have not been feeling a positive impact on all of this. So I spoke to them, and they tell me this is a terrible situation for everyone involved.
I've never seen a fire that big in my life.
It's a warehouse fire that some people could see for miles.
The smoke was just, it was crazy high.
Fire crews are still working on the warehouse fire that happened here on Lyell Avenue around 11 last night. It took hours to put the fire out, and now they're still cleaning up the mess. Sean is a resident who lives just a street over and says it caught the entire neighborhood by surprise.
That's mainly what they was trying to extinguish, but a lot of people caught it when it was really high and really bright.
The 5-alarm fire caused several power outages, causing many residents nearby to evacuate. But they weren't the only ones affected.
Firefighters said they got all the roads blocked off. They got all the hoses running across the street so nobody could get to the parking lot. So unfortunately, we have to close for today.
Jeff Bookhart works at Lyell Avenue 2 Smoke Shop that's just across from the warehouse. He says he was one of the many businesses in the area who lost power when it all happened.
I came down here to close at about 11:40, and then I started taking video and stuff. And I was here till the lights went out. Our lights went out in the middle of me being here and recording.
Accurate Tool and Die LLC is just a stone's throw away from the warehouse. Kira Hartman is the director of operations at Accurate and says their business runs nonstop. But now that has to be put on hold.
We've got multiple customers, local and far away, who are all looking for us to deliver today, and we can't even get into the building right now. No power.
Now, as you mentioned earlier, fire crews and demolition people will be out here all day, probably well into tomorrow, continuing the cleanup efforts. Of course, we still don't know the exact cause of the fire, but drivers should continue finding alternate routes as several blocks of Lyell Avenue are still closed off. Reporting live in Rochester, Deshaun Johnson, News 8.
All right, Deshaun, thank you. Taking a toll on the businesses out there.
Get the Rochester First streaming app today for everything you love from News 8 On Demand. Plus exclusive shows you won't see anywhere else. Search ROC and download for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.